So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it is time for, something different. As you can see by the background, this very much is not FIFA 18. I did a video a couple of months ago now, taking a look at what the year 2018 would look like if it was played out on FIFA 12. So simming forward 6 or 7 seasons to see what the year 2018 would have been predicted to be like by an old school FIFA game. And today I'm going to be doing the same thing but on a newer game on FIFA 14. Now if there's any games in the future you'd like me to do this on, drop it down in the comment section. But before we get into it, as per usual, as I'm sure you know, this video is going to be sponsored by OneFootball. It is a football news and results app where you can check out fixtures and all sorts of stuff about not only the World Cup but also the league that you are supporting a team in. And for that reason, you can choose a specific team or more than one specific team to follow and purely receive news updates for them. So personally, I use it to get updates about Liverpool, about obviously England, the national side, and also about Nigeria, who I have connections to as well, getting all sorts of news and results and live updates on games from those teams. Check it out down in the description below. There should be a link to get it on Android and on the App Store as well. But getting into this video proper now, we're going to take a look at what the leagues look like. We have simmed to 2018 on FIFA 14, and if I'm honest, not a huge amount has changed in terms of the Premier League as to what it was like at the start of the save. United won the league ahead of Chelsea, with City and Liverpool in the top 4. Aston Villa, Newcastle and Bolton doing very well. Obviously there's a fair few teams that aren't in the Premier League anymore, the likes of QPR, Sunderland, Norwich and stuff, who stayed in the league, along with the promoted teams from this year being Fulham and Cardiff. In the FA Cup, that was won by my beloved Liverpool. They knocked out Swansea in the semis and then beat United in the final. And the 2018 Capital One Cup, obviously it hadn't changed its name by this point, was won by Hull City, beating Chelsea 2-1 in the final. Current obviously championship side struggling to stay in that league as well. Over in the Champions League, as it will now be known on FIFA 19, but it was the Champions Cup back in the day, Internazionale won ahead of Bayern Munich. I think it'll be quite some time before that Italian side wins the Champions League once again. And over in the Europa League, Manchester City won against Atletico Madrid in the final 2-0. So FIFA 14 predicting that in 2018 Manchester City would be winning the Champions League. In the end, ironically, it was the team that they beat that won it in real life, being Atletico Madrid, who of course beat Marseille in the final. Now moving down into different divisions, you can see the Championship here was won by Reading. Nottingham Forest also gaining automatic promotion, with Watford, Wolves, Hull and Derby in the playoffs. Not a huge amount changing, I guess, but the likes of Leicester and Brighton and Burnley obviously still in the Championship. FIFA 14, obviously not predicting the big rise of those sorts of teams, and especially with the likes of Huddersfield and Bournemouth, who were down in League One in 2018 as predicted by FIFA 14. Huddersfield, however, winning the league and Bournemouth in the playoffs, but unreal to see those two teams down in League One. Obviously that's where they were back in the day, but obviously they've seen a massive rise in real life. And League 2 was won by a team that isn't even on the game anymore, Tranmere Rovers, although I believe they were promoted in real life, or potentially, I'm not entirely sure. They won League 2 ahead of Bradford and Notts County. Over in the rest of Europe, you can see that PSG, or Paris Saint-Germain, still sort of dominating French football. Marseille, who I spoke about earlier, came second ahead of Lyon and Stade Rennais, so a bit of an interesting one there. OGC Nice down in the mid-table. Germany, the Bundesliga, was won by Borussia Dortmund, interestingly, ahead of Bayern Munich, Schalke and Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp was still managing Borussia Dortmund back at this point, so this was really the high time, if you like, for Dortmund over in Germany, and they won the league according to FIFA 14 in 2018. Internazionale still on top in Italian football. Obviously that really is not the case anymore, not even qualifying, I don't think, for the Champions League this year. They beat Juventus, Milan, Fiorentina, Napoli and Roma in the top 6 over there. And over in the Eredivisie in the Netherlands, this is the second to last one that we'll check out. PSV reigned supreme there, ahead of Ajax, Feyenoord, AZ Alkmaar, Heerenveen and also FC Twente. And in Spain, the league, interestingly enough, was won by Atletico Madrid. 83 points, just 1 point clear in a very tight Spanish league, actually. Ahead of Real Madrid, then another 1 point back to Valencia, and then just 2 back to Barcelona, who massively underachieved, way down in 4th place. So now we're going to take a look at some of the bigger teams and some of the players that have gone a bit missing, maybe, in this save. And one thing I will say, to be honest with you, about FIFA 14 and its transfer system is that not not a huge amount changed. There's a lot of stuff probably in the title, and there is a lot of stuff that has changed, but with the English sides especially, I don't know whether that's to do with the fact that I was using an English side to carry out this sim, there's not a huge amount of difference between these sides. I mean, this Chelsea team you're seeing here is pretty much the team that would have started this career mode save. Like even, I mean, Kevin De Bruyne is still there, you'll see further down, Romelu Lukaku is still there. The only difference really is that Samir Nasri has signed from this side here, Manchester City. Now City have changed a little bit more, Wojciech Szczesny is now at the club. I think he was glitched on this game, I think he had a ridiculous potential, did Wojciech Szczesny, so that might be the reason why City have picked him up. The likes of obviously Matija Nastasic and Gael Clichy and James Milner still at the side. For some reason they've signed Scott Sinclair from Swansea, as he was at that club at the time. Jack Rodwell, Javi Garcia, loads of players who were at Manchester City at this point, still with the club in 2018 according to this game, but obviously not in real life. The only real big change for City is that they've signed Mesut Ozil from Arsenal, which is quite an interesting one. And as we go further down, you'll also notice they don't have Sergio Aguero. They do have, however, have a very good Stefan Jovetic. He didn't really reach the heights. Now, I've already spoken about the transfer system. This game saw the debut of GTN scouting, and to be honest with you, it was very, very far away from being refined. In fact, it was basically impossible to actually scout a player's overall, which is why you can't see them on the screen. I would have tried scouting some of these players to actually get a grasp of how good they were, but you can't actually physically scout a player to the level of seeing their overall on this game. You have to sign them first, so it was practically impossible. So unfortunately with this video, I'm only able to show you the roster rather than how good the actual players are, which is a massive shame, to be honest with you, but I'm sure when we do this with older games, if that's what you want to see, I'll try and include the overalls then. You saw then a moment ago Paris Saint-Germain had signed Sergio Aguero, so that's where he has gone. Borussia Dortmund have signed some very interesting players actually. Hugo Lloris, Simon Mignolet from the team that I'm using for this sim, and also Jonathan Tah, who was quite young on this game. I think he was only about 18 when this game even came out, so a very forward-thinking of Borussia Dortmund to look at a player who certainly hadn't got anywhere near his potential or anywhere near the heights that he'd reached at the moment in real life. They've also signed Tom Carroll from Tottenham and Oscar as well, the Brazilian. They've also managed to keep hold of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, no signing to Arsenal for him in this version of reality. And they've also brought in Wilfred Bony, but no Robert Lewandowski, which was interesting, and I don't think he'd signed for Bayern Munich at this point in real life, so we'll wait and see as to where the poll has ended up. This, though, is Bayern Munich. Speaking of them, you can see again the side hasn't really changed that much. The likes of Badstuber and Dante and all sorts of others still at the club. You can see Mitchell Weiser there, Thomas Muller, Xherdan Shaqiri is still a Bayern Munich player in this version of reality instead of going off to Stoke City in the Premier League. I'm sure he'll be leaving them in real life, but he's still with them in the game. Toni Kroos as well didn't end up signing for Real Madrid in this version of the universe, and they also signed Luis Suarez from, I believe, Liverpool. I don't think had he left? I think maybe he had left, actually. Maybe Luis Suarez had left by this. No, he hadn't. So they signed him from the team that I'm using for this sim, which is a bit frustrating. But yeah, so he ended up at Bayern Munich, did Luis Suarez, instead of going off to Barcelona. We'll see Barcelona in a little bit, but you're seeing now Internacional, who won the Champions League in this season of this save. And they made some good signings, actually. Jan Vertonghen, Rafael Varane, you can also see there Antonio Valencia and Ezequiel Charlotto, who plays for Brighton in real life, but had a really good potential on this game. Freddie Guarin, old school hero of Ultimate Team back in the day, along with the likes of Mateo Kovacic here, Carlos Eduardo, Mauro Icardi as well, still a youngster playing for Inter. Now taking a look at the Spanish champions of 2018, as predicted by FIFA 14, this is Atletico Madrid. They brought in Igor Akinfeev, still got the likes of Felipe Luis, who had gone to Chelsea in real life, but then ended up back at Atletico Madrid. Diego Godin and Jose Maria Jimenez was very much a youngster at this point in real life. Same for the likes of Saul Niguez, who've just gone past there. Thomas Partey as well. Probably didn't have the ratings they do now on the game. Koke is another one who may have only been about 80 or maybe not even that on this game if he had a particularly harsh potential. But there is Robert Lewandowski. So he left Borussia Dortmund and decided to sign for Atletico Madrid of all places. So no signing for Bayern Munich for Lewandowski, as is what happened in real life. Taking a look though now at Barcelona, this is the penultimate team we're going to look at. And again, things pretty much the same. Alexis Sanchez, Bojan, Isaac Cuenca haven't left the club in this save. Neither has Pedro or Christian Teo, as is obviously the case in real life. In fact, I don't even know what happened to Isaac Cuenca actually in real life. Does anyone even know what happened to him? Sergio Roberto, Xavi, Alexander Song. But look at that, Philippe Coutinho. This game predicted the future. This game genuinely predicted that Philippe Coutinho would in fact sign for Barcelona, and that front three as well of Neymar, Messi and Wayne Rooney, who instead of playing for Everton in 2018, as is the case in real life, was playing for Barcelona, clearly living his best life. But Philippe Coutinho, I don't think he even signed for Liverpool, had he? Or maybe he had, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I think he had signed for Liverpool. I think he spent one season at Liverpool by this point, but he signed for Barca. In the background, you're now seeing Real Madrid. It is pretty much the same team as was the case at the start of this game save. I don't think anything's changed. The likes of Khedira and Iyaramendi and Denis Cheryshev and Angel Di Maria are still at the club. Nothing really changing. Isco there as well. Apart from Juan Mata actually had signed as well from Chelsea. That's one small change, I guess, for Real Madrid. But not a great transfer system on this game. And not a whole lot changing from the start of the save. But still a lot of differences. And also a lot of similarities, weirdly, as well. Especially with Coutinho signing for Barcelona. That was quite an interesting one. But if you've enjoyed this video, then slap a like on it. And of course, subscribe if you are new to the channel. That is basically the end of 2018 in FIFA 14. That is what that game predicted for the year that we are currently living. If there's any other games you'd like me to try this on, then drop them down in the comment section. You can also follow me on social media. My Twitter handle and Insta are @theofficialfng. Links are down below. Also, thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring this one. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.